But I want to talk a little bit about how else did we get to the low cost of producing this car. How are we doing that? Well, this vehicle is sitting on a new platform called SLV1. And that stands for simple, versatile, and volume. So, what's unique about this platform is it started as a Steel Plus Plus. We called it that, the whole idea of how do we make this vehicle. And the Steel Plus Plus concept was a concept where we want to take parts out of the car. We want to reduce the part count. And we actually ended up with reducing the parts count in that vehicle of 35%. 35% reduction in parts count. That's a lot. That means it's going to be a lot easier to manufacture this vehicle, a lot easier to assemble it, and just think about, we talked about earlier, shipping parts, 35% less parts in this vehicle, which is quite unique. I also just want to talk a little bit about the exterior design, because we talked about some of the things going forward to certain things, or fitting in from the Ronin over here. So look at those headlamps. They're kind of cool. And of course, they're inspired a little bit by the Ronin. So you're going to get drizzled a little bit of supercar stuff into this vehicle as well, despite the price. And you look at these sculptured fenders. Look at the sculptured design. We are going for something very unique here, which is getting away from all this clutter. It's just a very pure, clean design. And we really looked at doing something new also on the upper area of the vehicle. We kind of took inspiration from sort of the glider planes, which are super smooth and aerodynamic. So you see here at the rear, there's a window which is totally flush with the rest of the body, which is kind of cool, and I can show it over here as well. You kind of see this window here is totally flush, and it's just rolling up here, which is very, very smooth, very cool, very aerodynamic. And when you look at the rear, you can see these tail lamps here. They're just thin wraparound, but it's actually one large spoiler that also helped this being much smoother in the wind. And then going to the front, like I mentioned earlier, kind of every design detail we did in this vehicle was really about, you know, how do you use a vehicle and what do we want to achieve? So if you look at the front, we actually have this very unique wraparound windscreen, and we have a low cowl. And the reason we did that was, again, we want to have that glider plane feeling with this giant panoramic view as you're driving around in the city. You want to have the best possible view all the way out, you know, whenever you're driving around. This is that's what you want in the city. And that's why we designed this kind of super curvy front windscreen.